Hello, good morning everyone. I am Shashank Gupta from Government J. Yoganandam Chhattisgarh College, Raipur. Today we are dealing with John Milton's sonnet number 7, How Soon Had Time, the Subtle Thief of Youth. So we are dealing with sonnet. First question arises, what is sonnet? Sonnets are poems that meet the following rules. All sonnets are 14 lines long. Sonnets in English are written in iambic pentameter, which means that each line has 10 syllables alternating in an unstressed followed by stressed pattern, and sonnets follow a predetermined rhyme scheme. The rhyme pattern determines if the sonnet is Petrarchan, Shakespearean, or Spenserian. We have major types of sonnets here: Petrarchan sonnet, Shakespearean sonnets, Spenserian sonnets, Miltonic sonnets. Okay, first we will go back to Petrarchan sonnet. Uh, the sonnet began in Italy, where the poet Francisco Petrarch first established as a serious form of poetry. Petrarch wrote a large collection of sonnets addressed to a young woman named Laura he saw one afternoon at church. She was not interested in Petrarch, but he didn't let that stop him and proceeded to publish some 260 sonnets about her, followed by another hundreds or so after her death. Petrarch is quite possibly the first recorded literary stalker. Petrarch also refined a particular type of sonnet known as the blazon. A blazon is a sonnet that catalogues the features or traits of its subject, usually a woman, and describes them using hyperbole, metaphor, or simile. Okay, Petrarchan sonnets are 14 lines long. They are divided into two groups, octave and sestet. Octave means first 8 lines and sestet means last 6 lines. Octave rhyme scheme is ABBA, ABBA, and sestet rhyme scheme is CDE, CDE, or CDC, CDC. Now comes the question, what is this ABBA, ABBA? Okay, I'll tell you with an example. These lines are taken from Honest Blindness. I will read it to you, and then meanwhile I will tell you what are rhyming scheme ABBA, ABBA. Okay. When I consider how my light is spent, or half my days in this dark world and wide, and that one talent which is death to hide, lodged with me useless through my soul more bent. Okay, spent, bent. A, A, wide, B, hide, B. A, B, B, A. Okay, this way. Next four lines are to serve there with my maker present, mm, present, and true account lest he returning child denied. Okay, A, B, B, okay. So you can see here that spent, the word is spent, wide, hide, and bent. Spent, bent, wide, hide, ABBA. This way we can understand rhyme scheme ABBA, ABBA, CDE, CDE. Now comes Shakespearean sonnets. They are divided into four groups, three quatrains and a couplet. Quatrain rhyme scheme is AB, AB, CD, CD, EF, EF, and the concluding couplet rhyme scheme is GG. Right? Shakespeare's sonnets are also composed of 14 lines, and um, most are divided into three quatrains and a final concluding couplet. This sonnet form and rhyme scheme is also known as English sonnet. Okay, Yat and Surrey had introduced this Italian. They actually translated Italian sonnets into English, and uh, they wrote many sonnets of their own. Many later Renaissance English writers used this sonnet form, and Shakespeare did so particularly inventively. Spenserian sonnet is a variation on Shakespearean sonnet, but with a challenging rhyme scheme. And the rhyme scheme is A B A B B C B C C D C D E E. Miltonic sonnets. Miltonic sonnet converts the traditional Petrarchan sonnet form by the use of enjambment. The 17th century form was created by English poet John Milton. Milton also took the sonnet out of the category of love poems and brought it into the world of politics and social issues. Previously, Shakespeare, Petrarch, and Spenser, they all dealt with love lyrics in sonnet form, but Milton introduced politics and social issues in sonnet. The elements of Miltonic sonnets are quaterzen. Enjambment is used to tighten the sonnet, leaving the 14 lines unbroken by stanza. They are metered and with iambic pentameter. They are rhymed. Okay, uses the Petrarchan rhyme scheme ABBA, ABBA, CDE, CDE, and the turn or volta evolves slowly after line 8, and uh, they are composed around the theme of moral issues and political insights. Okay, first I will read the sonnet for you. Okay, how soon at time the subtle thief of youth. How soon at time the subtle thief of youth is stolen on his wings my 3 and 20th year, isn't it? Um, My hasting days fly on with full career, but my late spring no bud of blossom sheweth. Perhaps my semblance might deceive the truth that I to manhood am arrived so near. And inward ripeness doth much less appear, that some more timely happy spirits endureth. Yet be it less or more, or soon or slow, it shall be still in strictest measure even to that same lot, however mean or high, toward which time leads me and the will of heaven. All is, if I have grace to use it so, ever in my great taskmaster's eye. How soon had time is a Petrarchan sonnet. As such, it can be divided into two parts. The first 8 lines of the poem, the octave, stand as a unit. Okay, the final 6 lines of the poem, the sestet, work as a second separate unit with its own rhyme scheme. Petrarchan poets use the two halves of the poem rhetorically, advancing an idea or an argument in the first 8 lines, which they often reverse, complicate, or contradict in the poem's final 6 lines. Indeed, reading this poem, one has a sense that something is turning, changing after its first 8 lines. Milton has used alliteration. Okay, you can see in the first line, how soon had time the subtle thief of youth is stolen on his wing. Soon, subtle, stolen, repeated sound. Okay, um, which appears as soon, stable, and stolen. He also creates a repeated f, b, and t sounds throughout the poem. The alliteration at times suggests an underlying connection between rather disparate concepts throughout the poem, such as time, theft, flight, youth, spring, isn't it? Okay. Uh, Now we will discuss the poem line by line. How soon had time the subtle thief of youth, isn't it? Uh, John Milton was a staunchly religious person, considering himself a missionary to God's noble cause. Hmm? awaiting divine intervention is evident in his first line of How soon at time, where he laments how soon at time the subtle thief of youth, as well as in another sonnet released after his subsequent blindness, when I consider how my light is spent. He awaits divine inspiration in his poetic publication. As the poem starts in a lamentable tone, he begins with how soon had time the subtle thief of youth. He feels betrayed by the speed at which youth and time have left him with years past. Okay, my hasting days fly on with full career, but my late spring no but blossom sheweth. Most critics and contemporaries would deem him as impatient and ungrateful. Having accomplished more than his contemporaries and future critics, Milton, having command on Greek, Latin, English, French, German, Hebrew, Spanish, Italian, and he studied poetry and linguistics for 6 years privately, shows his apparent humility and measurement criteria. He has completed his 23 years and has not done anything worth remembering till now. Milton looks very impatient here. My hasting days fly on with full career but my late spring no but blossom sheweth. He has completed his 23 years and he feels that he has not accomplished uh, anything worth remembering. Okay, perhaps my semblance might deceive the truth that I to manhood am arrived so near. Okay, Milton says here that perhaps my semblance might deceive the truth. I am 23 years old और मैं ऐसा लगता नहीं हूँ कि जैसे मैं 23 years का हो गया हूँ. Perhaps my semblance might deceive the truth that I to manhood am arrived so near. This is a direct linkage to his collegiate years, where his feeble physical structure was deemed as girlish and feminine, resulting him earning the title of the Lady of Christ. He is of the view that he is now attaining the age of 23, but his bodily appearance deceives the truth that his days of manhood has arrived. And inward ripeness doth much less appear, that some more timely happy spirit endureth. He has arrived at manhood, but his inner maturity has not yet appeared, although some happy spirits are endowed with maturity of thought and talent in time. उसको मिल्टन को ऐसा लगता है कि ही हैज़ बिकम 23 years ओल्ड और उसके अंदर में वो मैच्योरिटी नहीं है जो कि उसके कंटेम्परारीज में वो मैच्योरिटी दिखाई देती है. He is lamenting that he has done nothing worthwhile yet. In conclusion, he ends his tragically toned lament with having faith in God or assisting him in his quest for greatness. In another poem on his blindness, he lovingly accepts God's will in his divine scheme of things, bestowing his fellow men as he pleases. Yet be it less or more, or soon or slow, it shall be still in strictest measure even to that same Lord, however mean or high. In these lines, Milton comes in terms to reality and says that he needs time and blessings of God. He says that sooner or later, be it small amount or large, he will be blessed by him. He says that time will lead him. Okay, he says that time will lead him towards the gates of heaven or to the pit of hell. It is his destiny, and with time he will arrive there. Okay, yet be it less or more or soon or slow, it shall be still in a strictest measure even to that same Lord, however mean or high, towards which time leads me, and the will of heaven. All is as if I have grace to use it so, as ever in my great taskmaster's eye. In these lines, there is some kind of introspection and acceptance that is seen. अब उसको लगता है कि उसका इस लाइन से हमें पता चलता है कि उसका भरोसा जो है भगवान के ऊपर में बढ़ गया है. Okay, acceptance that is seen The poet is a religious person and he believes that someday God will show him the purpose of his life and leads him to his destiny. The term taskmaster implies that he considers that everything in the world is pre-planned by God, predestined, and he is the master behind all that happens around the world. Okay, the whole poem, uh, after reading it, we can find some themes. Okay, work, ambition, aging, faith, grace, self-surrender. The first eight line presents an ambitious yet anxious speaker, someone who is eager to make his mark on the world yet who feels his life slipping by, and who feels like his life will be meaningless unless he manages to accomplish some grand public project, okay, that other people can witness and appreciate. In the last six lines of the poem, the poet is not worried, rather he is starting to have faith in the omnipotent. He is having a more positive view in the concluding lines that it never matter how hard he struggles, he won't be able to accomplish anything unless God wants him to do. It's a very beautiful poem. You can prepare critical appreciation of the poem. You can prepare different themes of this poem. Okay, thank you very much. We will come up with a new sonnet or a new poem. Thank you very much.